Thank you very much, Peter Cordillo, for joining us and sharing your insight as a chief market economist at Spartan Capital Securities. Now we move on to our next news. U.S. President Donald Trump, while hosting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House, indicated progress on a reportedly controversial effort to relocate Palestinians out of Gaza Strip. Speaking to reporters at the beginning of a dinner between U.S. and Israeli officials, Netanyahu said that the United States and Israel are working with other countries who would give Palestinians a better future, suggesting that the residents of Gaza could move to neighboring nations. Netanyahu also called Trump's vision a free choice, where Palestinians could remain where they are or relocate if they wished. He noted that Israel was actively working closely with the United States to identify countries willing to help give Palestinians a better future. He also said that they are getting close to finding several such countries. Let's take a look at what the United States President and the Israeli Prime Minister had to say.
I think President Trump had a brilliant vision. It's called free choice. You know, if people want to stay, they can stay. But if they want to leave, they should be able to leave. It shouldn't be a prison. It should be an open place and give people a free choice. We're working with the United States very closely about finding countries that will seek to realize what they always say, that they want to give the Palestinians a better future. And those who, and I think we're getting close to finding several countries, and I think this will give, again, the freedom to choose. Palestinians should have it, and I hope that we can secure it close by.
And we've had great cooperation from surrounding Israel, surrounding countries, great cooperation from every single one of them. So something good will happen.
This comes after Netanyahu said that he wanted peace with Palestinians but described any future independent state as a platform to destroy Israel, and for that reason, he said the sovereign power of security must remain with Israel. Moreover, when asked about the possibility of a two-state solution, Trump expressed uncertainty and directed the question to Netanyahu. In response, Netanyahu stated that while Palestinians should have the authority to govern themselves, Israel would retain control over key security matters, ensuring that no threats could arise from Palestinian governance. Meanwhile, U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, has said that regarding the Gaza ceasefire talks that there is finally an opportunity to get a peace deal. Now we are joined by our guest Ali M. Abushbak. He's a Middle East Affairs researcher joining us live from Cairo. Thank you, Ali, for joining us today. How realistic is this notion of Palestinians having a free choice to relocate, given the complex social, economic, as well as emotional ties and it's to their homeland?
Thank you, Osuma, for having me again. The thing is, this is not a new time. By the way, this is also the third visit for Netanyahu to the White House during the beginning of the administration of Donald Trump. And this is, the notion is not new. Since the beginning of the war, they are the far right-wing Israelis. They consider voluntarily displaced the Palestinian and voluntarily immigration of the Palestinian. Despite that, also yesterday Netanyahu, he emphasized and confirmed the notion and the idea, but he didn't identify the countries that he's working with. During the beginning of the war, there is a several of countries they put it as a choice for receive the Palestinian, like Egypt, which rejected Jordan, which also rejected the notion. Also Libya, they are deny the American and Israelis report that they are working to receive a Palestinian from Gaza, as well as Somalia. They have denied that this notion, and they have denied that they are working with Israel to receive a Palestinian from Gaza. So the things here is it's like only puppet and manipulating the Palestinian mental in Gaza and force Hamas to accept any deal in any cost to show that Benjamin Netanyahu, he's the only, according to Donald Trump, he's a hero, and he's a champion of this war, and he's trying to give him any surviving for politician life in Israel. Meanwhile, also there is a several of a protest in Israel against Benjamin Netanyahu's policy in with regard to Gaza, as well as in the international community. Everyone condemned the continuous war and what they call it as a genocide in Gaza. Also on the ground, we have witnessed the last week there is a several of a protest against, I mean, in the international community and international countries like German, like UK, Spain. There are several of hundreds of people, they participate in protest against the war in Gaza, and they call it as a genocide and war crime. So the thing is, the voluntarily displaced the Palestinian, I guess this notion is a sarcastic notion. Palestinians since then in 1948, they are tithing their land, and they didn't leave, despite also in Gaza there is a blockaded for more than 17 years, and there is a restriction of the mobility and moving. The Palestinians still living in Gaza. I talked to several of people in Gaza, despite that they have a pain, despite what is happening in Gaza, more than 70% of Gaza has been completely destroyed, and there is no area for survive, there is no infrastructure, there is no drinkable water, and etc. etc. And despite the miserable situation in Gaza, I talked to several of people. They confirmed that they are not going to leave, and they asked, where should we go? Also, most of the people, they reject the notion of leaving Gaza and living in other countries until and unless there is no solution. Also on the ground, we have witnessed, despite several of pressure from Israeli military that putting on the Palestinian civilians, not only Hamas, they still resist and they still steadfast on their land. So I guess Benjamin Netanyahu's notion is only it's like a puppet to make his far right wing coalition in the government more happy, moderate, and Benefir, who's always stress on the notion of building the settlement and settle Gaza and departure the Gaza civilians and make Gaza as a settlement of the Israeli to save, I guess, this statement to save his government coalition from the collapse.
Thank you very much.